right, I am live, and I know it's been a while since I had Wrap-Up Fridays with Kim. I've been so busy, but here I am today, and I would like to thank everybody for stopping by. I know we all live busy lives, and as the election grows closer, there's a sense of urgency, well, at least in my campaign. So once again, thank you. So I want to talk about briefly about President Trump and the coronavirus. I'm sure everybody has heard that he's been tested positive, and now he's gone to the hospital. I forgot the name, or Walter Reed. And I definitely, do not wish that coronavirus on anybody, and I definitely wish him a speedy recovery, him and his wife, and anybody else that has it, because, this is a virus that definitely ravaged the body, and we definitely need to be more proactive, where we need to practice social distancing and wear a mask. Because this is no joke. And then not only if you get it, you have the potential to spread it to other people. So once again, I definitely wish him and his family, I'm praying for both of them, for both of them. All right, so let's go on to the first topic. So the first topic of tonight is Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So now this was last week, but trying to catch up here. So I never forget when it was announced that she had died. I was working in my office, and my wife, she was in the room, and she screamed, "Oh no!" And I immediately jumped up and was like, "What's wrong?" And then she said that Ruth Bader Ginsburg had reportedly had passed away. For me, I flopped back on in my chair, and it was like a gut punch. I thought about her amazing career and how she inspired women across generations. Her resilience, her tenacity, and her graciousness. She has always been one of my biggest inspirations in my life. She's what I've always wanted to be. So here it is to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, aka Notorious RBG. So shortly after the announcement of her death, of course, the Republicans announced that they would move forward in selecting the new Supreme Court justice. Are you shocked? I know I wasn't. I knew Mitch McConnell, when he held up Obama's pick, if the shoe was on the other foot, that he would press forward. And it is unfortunately inevitable that we might eventually get another conservative on the bench. And I know the Democrats will try to slow the process, but they are going to nominate her. Now, granted, with this COVID-19, one might, we don't know what's going to happen. So, but I know that the House is talking about trying to pass term limits on Supreme Court justices, and I definitely agree. I believe that not even the Supreme Court justice need to be termed. Congress needs to be termed as well. So anybody has any thoughts on what do they think about the Supreme Court justices and their term limits? You can enter your information into the comments. Like I just did right there. Okay. All right. So she's gonna. Eventually, she probably will get picked. We don't know how this is going to work out now, since Trump is currently in the hospital, and I don't know if I know that they're going to probably be testing her as well. And so Thomas asked me, how do you feel about expanding the court in general? Hey, I'm all for it. We should. I agree with expanding the court, and I also agree with term limits. Now, we can do either or. So we could. So both of them will require an act of Congress. So if we do expand the court, we could, add additional justices. And if Biden is president, he would definitely pick them. But I do believe that we still need to put term limits on them because they are in that seat for way too long a period of time. I believe the House is talking about 18 years, and that seems reasonable for them to serve their term as a justice. Any other questions? All right, so I'm just going to move forward. I'm going to talk about last week, Thursday, Trump signed an executive order that claims to address two of the biggest concerns Americans have about the healthcare system: coverage for people with pre-existing conditions and surprise medical bills. Now, we know that right now he is just throwing stuff out there in the wind. His executive orders is really not going to make much of a difference. It's just, symbolic. The ACA covers people with pre-existing conditions. If the ACA is overturned, which the Supreme Court will hear, I believe after the election, people will lose. You will still be able to get covered, but here's the caveat: it's going to your premiums are going to increase because the way that the health system is built, it's based off of the healthy and the sick, and the healthy needs to offset the sick. The more healthy they have in that pot, the lower the premiums go for people who are more on the sick side. So, but with the ACA, we did have a little more people who were sick getting insurance, but because of the ACA, it kept it at a cap where they couldn't they couldn't deny them health insurance, and they had it was a cap at how much money they could spend on the premiums. So with if the ACA goes away, yes, your premiums will increase. Some people will not be able to afford the health insurance anymore. So that would leave millions of Americans uninsured. So it's very important that we have somebody in Congress that will defend the ACA and expand it, because I honestly believe that every American should have health insurance, and this is not, I'm all for open markets, but when it comes to your health, that shouldn't be for sale. That should be something that the government is definitely helping Americans make sure that everybody is covered, because it affects, not only affects you and your family, but it also affects your workers. So if you're sick, you can't go to work. If you don't have health insurance, you're not going to be able, to get to the doctor and get the prescription drugs that you need or whatever to go back to work. Or if you are unemployed and you're sick and you're trying to find a job, it's just a cascade. Plus, with add in the mix with COVID-19, now we're talking about something more serious. Because millions of Americans right now could definitely eventually get COVID-19, and we definitely need some type of health insurance to help them, because it's more than just getting your nose swabbed. You're talking about going to the hospital, possibly even going, having some type of breathing apparatus for them. So yeah, we definitely need like a universal health care. So anybody have any questions on that? All right. So I wanted to briefly talk about Governor DeSantis allowing the eviction moratorium to expire. So he claims, according to him, the reason why he decided to allow the moratorium to expire is because of the CDC issued a federal eviction ban earlier last month in September, which went in effect September the 4th, and should expire in December. But there are differences between his moratorium and the CDC's. The CDC requires you to fill out paperwork in order to qualify. And so, and this is just for example, in order to qualify, you must earn less than $100,000 per year, and prove that you've tried to make rent payments, and provide proof to your landlord that your income has been significantly impacted by the pandemic. And I have posted a link to the document on my Facebook and Twitter page for people who might want to apply. But also, you say, for example, if you live in an apartment with three people, three tenants. So each one has to apply. So it's not just one person per household. So if there's a wife and a husband, both of them would have to apply. It doesn't make any sense to me, but those are the rules. So I don't agree with Governor DeSantis. I was hoping that he would extend it again, and this time make it longer. But unfortunately, he didn't. Now, I do know that his last extension was kind of like a watered down extension, where he still allowed the landlords to go ahead with the process of the eviction, but stop to the point where I guess the judge get involved, which means that now if they decide to move forward, the eviction process will be much shorter. So I honestly hope that, if anybody's out there, if they have any problems, please reach out to me. I'll do as much as I possibly can to try to find some type of relief for you. But yeah, this is really bad. I don't really see it going in a good way, unfortunately. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns on DeSantis' eviction? Nope. All right. So my views on this presidential debate. So the presidential debate, in my opinion, was like a hot mess. It was like 90 minutes of chaos. Donald Trump was out of control. He was a child that made the debate terrible. It almost seemed intentional, because he can't run on his record, and he doesn't know what he's talking about. The cost of, for example, some of the things that he was some of the things he claimed with Biden was, like, for example, the cost of insulin. Trump claimed his administration is cutting drug prices, citing a decrease in the cost of insulin. Now, if you remember earlier this year, Trump announced that elderly Americans in certain Medicaid Advantage and prescription drug plans would have to pay $35 out of pocket for a month's supply of insulin. But others insulin can still cost hundreds of dollars, depending on the brand. But recently, some insulin makers have lowered their prices, but it wasn't because of Trump. It was because of the response of the coronavirus. Plus, most of Trump's executive orders haven't taken effect yet, so it's unclear how beneficial they will eventually be. Another one he was talking about was the Green New Deal. According to Trump, they want to take out the cows. So cattle do produce methane gas, primarily from their manure, but no one is trying to get rid of the cows. There are companies that are creating ways to use the manure to convert into renewable energy that will prevent methane from reaching the atmosphere. And finally, it was another one that Trump claims that Biden will try to defund the police. I haven't seen anything in Biden's policies that call for defunding the police. But if you do take a look at Trump's 2021 budget proposal, he is cutting law enforcement programs. Now, expanding on, let's see, what is it? Burgers will still exist. Yes, burgers definitely will still exist. Yes, you still can get your burgers. I personally like Five Guys. So, yeah. So, in reference to the Trump claiming that Biden is going to defund the police, no, he's not. There have been calls where they are going to take some of the funds from the law enforcement and give to like mental health. It is definitely recommended that they have some type of mental health counselor riding along with police, especially when they get some type of call about a person who is disturbing, that has some type of mental health issues. So these mental health professionals can deal with them before the police can. So no, nobody's trying to defund the police. Let's see here. So my other topic was talking about was hate groups. There have been a lot of talk about, the Proud Boys, Ku Klux Klan, and other hate groups. And according to the Southern Poverty Law Center, the Proud Boys is considered an extremist hate group. Would it say St. Pete is doing that already, I think. What are they doing already? I'll continue. So, okay. So, yeah, the Proud Boys is considered an extremist hate group that was established in 2016. They have appeared alongside other hate groups and extremist gatherings like the Unite the Right in Charlottesville. Adding social workers. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, that is really good. So for the extremist groups, especially the Proud Boys, I remember reading an article shortly after Charlottesville where an individual was identified. He was part of the Unite the Right, and I do believe that they said that he was a member of the Proud Boys. Happened to be a PhD student, worked as a government contractor. But once he was identified, he lost his job, he lost his security clearance, and I read that he did take some time off from school. So, you can lose a lot by being part of these type of groups. I see hate groups, in my opinion, as a national security threat. They cause chaos, fear, they divide this country, they infect our military and our law enforcement. And I hope moving forward, if Biden is elected, he would direct the Justice Department to investigate hate crimes and remove them from the military and law enforcement. So, anybody has any questions about or any comments about the debate, because that debate was really something. Oh. So where do we go from here? Now that Trump, has COVID-19 and he's in the hospital, and like I said, I hope praying for a speedy recovery. They haven't. He hasn't given. He hasn't decided to give over to what is his name, Mike Pence. So he is still technically the president. Of course, the election will still go on. And so and of course, all our campaigns are just working really hard to try to get out the vote and get people to go to the ballots, or better yet, mail in your ballot before election day. It is extremely important that if you know people, a friend or whatever like that, a lot of times word of mouth works really well to help get the word out about a campaign. My campaign, as I have been talking about, is primarily on education and making sure that people have the skills they need to get jobs, better jobs. I'm a software engineer, and I know that eventually automation will take over a lot of jobs that are repetitive in nature. And we really need to get people to start learning lifelong learning. I do it myself because technology always change. I'm behind the curve right now because running for Congress, but I'm always learning. I specialize in software development, so I need to constantly stay on my programming languages and pick up new ones. I'm also looking. I also do some cloud work too as well. So I need to always constantly learn about AWS and Azure Cloud. And this is something that we really need to start pushing for everybody else. Reason being is to make it makes you competitive in the workforce. Businesses are looking for specific skill sets, and they are lacking those skill sets because people don't have them. And so I get technical training, that's great, but I was looking at more of some non-traditional training also, shorter modules for learning to help people, just like me, where I just take short classes where they last maybe not even a day, where I can pick up that skill. And then I practice and I practice and I practice, and then I can throw it on my resume, and I'm good to go. So my envision for lifelong learning is, I don't know if anybody ever went to, I think it was Ivanka that created this website that they were trying to push, where it said something about find something during the COVID pandemic. Well, I did go to the website, and to me, it's kind of something like what your guidance counselor would send you to go. And but it had the template with what I kind of envisioned, where almost like the ACA, where there's one site where everybody can go, and they can have there's different classes where they can enroll in, working with the universities, colleges, technical schools, businesses, and any other companies that give you different type of programs where you can learn different skills, and also having a lifelong learning account where you put in some money, and then the government will also put in money. And of course, if you're low income, you would get more money from the government. And then also, if you're working, your company can also contribute money to your account too as well. That's kind of the envision that I have, where we can continue to get people back on track, and also because, like I said, technology is going to take over, and what is happening today is going to change tomorrow, and so you have to be prepared in order to to be competitive in the workforce. For my teachers, I'm constantly trying to push for a raise in teachers' pay. Teachers definitely. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, I got a question here. Right learning extremist groups. Okay, I agree with you, Thomas. Teachers are on the forefront, and they deserve a raise. They make far less than what their counterparts who have the same degrees make out in the private sector. With the federal amending the federal tax code, where they will receive for $13,000 a year, teachers will receive in their I think it's like $350 per week additional. So those are the ideas that I have come up with to try to help people out better. And then also I want to talk about student loans, because we're all swimming in student loans. I know I am. Even with my GI Bill, my GI Bill covered my bachelor's degree, but my master's degree it didn't cover. So yeah, and so I am I'm paying off on my student loans right now. There are so many people out there that have gone delinquent on them, and the interest rate is the one that's really killing us on it. So I propose getting rid of the interest rate for one, and then we really need to reset. So just to completely pay off all the student loans, And by doing that, you just increase the corporate interest rate, the corporate tax rate from 21% to 23%. And so that'll pay off everybody's student loans, and people who have already have paid off their loans, they'll get a $50,000 tax break. So that is one way of us like restarting the clock, and then moving forward, get rid of the interest rates, because why are we having interest rates on student loans? You know, what you borrow is what you should be paying back, not with interest, because the government gives corporations, you know, interest-free loans, and while, you know, hardworking Americans and people who are trying to get better themselves are having these interest rates that eventually kills us throughout the years. So that is my proposal for the student loans. Anybody have any questions? No questions? Nothing? Do anybody have any questions about my my platform? I know that I had somebody email me and ask me, oh, wait a minute here, what can you do to keep ACA, the Affordable Care Act? What can I do to keep the ACA? Well, for one, the only way that we are going to be able to keep the ACA, well, if the Supreme Court rules the ACA is unconstitutional, one way of us to make it constitutional is we would have to restate the that tax that the ACA had, where Trump eliminated it. I think it was the I forgot what it was, but it was a tax where he eliminated it, and that was what triggered the Republicans to send it back to court. So that's one way. Another way is for I think that's really right now the only way, because that was the only thing that was tying the ACA together. I don't know if the Supreme Court is going to. I would hope that the Supreme Court would not take away the ACA and throw millions of people off of their insurance. I really think that they would, hopefully, would think twice of doing that. But yeah, the only way that I can think of is to reinstate that tax that it was a requirement tax that everybody had to if you didn't have insurance, then you would have to pay a certain amount of money every year in taxes, because you didn't have insurance. And I think it was still I think that was the main thing that tied the ACA together. So if Congress reinstates it, then it might be safe. But we would have to have the House and the Senate and the presidency in order to be able to keep the ACA. So you know, vote blue. You know, that's the only thing I can think of. Any other questions? So I did get a question from my email, and they asked me about God, what is it? What Andrew Yang was talking about, where there was income for people, a government income, and they asked me if I supported it. So yes and no. I believe for me, it's more for people who are unemployed, or going through right now what we're dealing with the coronavirus, where they're underemployed, where the government should definitely give them additional money to enable to survive. But it's just far as just a weekly, a monthly paycheck from the government. That's going to be a hard sell right now for me. For me, it's just helping people who are struggling. For me, I'm not rich, but I live okay. So I would be more than willing to give it to somebody else who definitely needs it. So I think maybe if it was for people with low income people, that, or especially the elderly who are not really working now, if they needed it, that money should go towards them. How can we help you get elected? Just volunteer. Actually, Jack is on. He's on here too right now. He is my volunteer coordinator. His name is Thomas Wallace. You can go to my website and sign up to volunteer. What we do is we do phone banks on Saturdays, and we have it open now where, throughout the week you can, make phone calls, at your convenience. And we do every now and then we do texting, P2P texting, peer-to-peer texting, and sometimes we do sign waving and lit drops as well. So that's basically what we've been trying to do, is trying to get the word out there. Now that I'm on the ballot, I have definitely seen an increase of people hitting the website and people asking me questions. And, I've even had some Republicans, actually tell me that they actually like my platform, which is, inspiring. They didn't say they were going to vote for me, but they, admitted that they like my platform. So if my goal is to just try to get people to, go to the site, take a look at the platform, or have people tell other people about me, and hopefully they will, at least take a look and see what I am trying to run on, and, and hopefully they will vote for me. But yeah, so Jack just put the information in the Facebook comments section, and you definitely can reach them through there. Okay, let's see here. What else can we talk about? I don't know what else is going on. I mean, right now everything is about, President Trump and COVID-19. Anything else that anybody's hearing that's happening, or if anything that anyone have any questions? We voted. Oh, thank you. Anybody have any questions on my platform, or have you heard anything about what else is going on other than, Trump and COVID-19? Anybody had any views about the the debate? And I know everybody can't wait to see next week debate with Kamala Harris and Mike Pence. What would be one or two stark contrasts, most critical contrasts between you and Gus? Good question. So, stark contrast. So, for instance, for me, I am not a politician. I never really thought I would ever be a politician or run for Congress, let's put it like that. I am a software engineer. I'm an introvert. I am getting out here because I know that I can make a difference, and I have ideas. But I am just like everybody else that works hard every day, gets up in the morning time and goes to work, and I have worked in a lot of different areas. So I have a lot of, life skills, compared to Gus Bilirakis, where, his father was a congressman, and then, he was in the Senate, and he was a lawyer, and then he, moved on to U.S. Congress. So I have real world skills, real world experience, working as a government contractor for the Department of Defense. So I do definitely have some foreign policy experience come to that, being in the military, serving in both Army and Air Force. And just, and then, like I said, as a software engineer, where my job is to find solutions to help businesses. So I decided that is the reason why I'm going to run. And that's one of the differences between me and Gus is, I am just an average everyday American like everybody else, that has ideas, that wants to make the lives better for every American. Again, with the military, I served where Gus didn't serve. And I believe in I believe in equality for all, and and if you would ask us, he would say the same thing, I'm sure. But his policies, I mean, what his vote record paints a different picture. For example, with the Equal Rights Act, he voted against that would allow gays and lesbians, where it would amend the Civil Rights Act, where it put gays and lesbians on the include gays and lesbians in the Civil Rights Act. I believe that Dreamers should have a pathway to citizenship. He voted against that. Right now during COVID-19, I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican state. All the states need help. But he uses the partisanship on this, and basically says, well, the Democratic states spend up all their money, so why should we help them? Well, no, it's not helping the states, you're helping the people. So I think those are some of the stark contrasts between me and Gus Bilirakis. Yes, he doesn't know how to work. What else he has done? And then Gus is not really big on global warming either. I am, and I definitely want to see us move to more green energy, green, clean jobs and stuff. I see Florida can solar panels is definitely big, and they create jobs. Green jobs are real, and they're much more. People make more money in green jobs than they would in other industries. So I am definitely for trying to make sure protecting our climate, our environment. And Gus says, well, he's not really for that. And he receives money from the electric companies and stuff. So, hey. Any other questions? Let's see here. What else can I talk about? Pretty quiet here. All right, so let's see here. Let me talk about something here. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to talk about. I mean, like I said, everybody is really right now talking about Trump and the coronavirus. Which is a big thing. Oh, I do want to mention about the election, as far as with voting and going to the polls. I am thinking about trying to put together a group of people, a group of possibly just volunteers, where we can make sure, I mean, we do have poll watchers and everything, and so we just want to make sure that people are not being intimidated when they go to the polls. We already heard when Trump was during the presidential debate, kind of making it seem like, people are going to just be there. So we want to make it a welcoming environment for people to go in and vote and not be intimidated. And I don't care what party they're affiliated with. So I am definitely going to look into that and make some phone calls to all the elections, Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough, to make sure that, that everybody that decides to go to vote will not be harassed or anything like that, because that's ridiculous. Thank you, Ruth. We'll stand back and stand up. Stand back and stand back and stand by. Yes, by the Proud Boys. Yes. And I have a feeling that it's going to be more in towards the African American community where this might happen. So I'll probably be reaching out to some of the NAACP people too as well, and see what they're going to be doing too. What can you do to help veterans reintegrate into civilian life?
Here's something I found on the web.
That's a good question. Okay, Amazon. Can you? Never mind, Amazon.
Rosemary, snake plant.
Okay, sorry. Amazon is talking. Let me turn her off. So that is a good question. what can I do to help veterans integrate into civilian life? So as a vet, I had a hard time. When I got out of the military, I was completely lost. I didn't even know what healthcare was, health insurance, because in the military, when you get sick, you go on sick call, and so you just go see a doctor. I mean, and you go through that whole process. But when I got out, I had to. My mom had to help me with, finding a healthcare provider and all this other stuff, and it was stressful. And then plus, it was a more of a structured environment in the military versus where, in the civilian world is a lot different. So what I can do, what I've also proposed is first, and they have gotten better. Let's put it like that. I do want to say that the military has gotten better to help soldiers, when they're getting ready to get discharged, to start, they have different little programs where they can learn how to write their resume and learn, all that. Is to have with the VA, through the VA, we can have like a help group where soldiers, when they get out of the military, they can go to this group that will help them get through trying to reintegrate back into society, because it is hard. And even to this day, I tend to I feel more comfortable around people who are veterans or soldiers than I do with civilians, and I don't know why that is, but I guess because I spent most of my life in the military. So that is one option that I'm still kind of working on, because I know that when I got out, the only person that helped me was my mom. So. How has your military service prepared you for Congress? Good question. And I actually had an answer on that one for, it was an interview that I had that they asked me that same question. And for me, it was because of the many challenges that are required by our military. We frequently were located to new installations, for one. The benefit was that we learned to work with people of varying backgrounds, cultures, and skill sets. We had critical decisions were made daily, and increased an already stressful environment where deliverables continue to change. Delegation and teamwork were vital, and we had to depend on each other and watch each other's backs to accomplish the mission. Leadership and persistence are capital in situations where the job demands success without adequate resources. And as a leader, we must make tough decisions. And there are times where our decisions are not popular, but are necessary for the good of the mission. The military entrusted me and all the soldiers with national security missions. For example, I have a top secret clearance. I still have a top secret clearance, actually. And they entrust us with that information to make sure that we don't tell anybody, but it is of national security. And then plus, we must remain independent thinkers to accomplish these complex tasks without guidance. And in that times, as legislators, they must remain open to new ideas, constructs, and be willing to move on those ideals. So that is basically what the military has, how the military service prepared me for Congress. Any other questions? Those are really good questions. I am a vet and a West Point grad, so excellent answer to that question. Thank you. Oh, you're a West Point graduate. Oh, congratulations. And West Point is not easy. And thank you for your service. Yes. Okay. I know it's kind of a little bit early, but if nobody doesn't have any questions, we can kind of go ahead and end it. I'll give you a couple of minutes back from, because I know everybody, like I said, is busy and have a busy day. And if anybody has ordered yard signs, they will be delivered tomorrow. I apologize. I am starting to get kind of backlogged on it, but I had to reorder because I had ran out of yard signs. And then I've been trying to also get those big signs up too as well. So it's been kind of a hectic couple of weeks. But tomorrow my agenda is to get all the yard signs that people have requested delivered. So if you don't have haven't requested a yard sign, you can. And on the website, it says yard signs. And if you've already requested a yard sign, I will definitely get those delivered to you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday because I give myself 2 days. Okay. Anybody else got anything? Any questions before I end this? Okay. Well, everybody, you have a great evening. Please be safe out there. Don't forget, wear masks and practice social distancing. Okay? Have a great evening. Bye.